Hi guys. Do you like my iPad? It's so cute, right? I love my iPad. Anyway, out of topic for today. What was the topic? Okay, a topic is crazy. But basically today in school, right, I had to okay, let's get rid of this. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, today I had to do this personality quiz because it's a part of, like, I don't know, this assessment. And so I had to take this personality quiz, and just pull out the old MacBook here and just might show you guys. What's it called? I had to do this personality quiz and basically, like, answer questions based off the results that I got. It's not nice. The results aren't nice. Like, they clocked me, like, really bad. Like,
you better stop! Bitch, stop!
yeah, they woke me up. Yeah. They sound turbulent. What does that mean?
Daddy the grandmaster, daddy I want it faster. Them bitches you're fucking with, I know they gon' need some practice. So
Prospecting. I don't know what that is. I'm not dumb, I just don't know what that is. Anyway, so one of the questions on the one of the questions on the quiz was something along the lines of does like getting shown affection make you feel like awkward, something like that. And it made me realize, like, shit, yes it does. And I kind of sat there for a while. I didn't even end up finishing the quiz, like, in that period. I had to finish it in the next period, but it made me question and, like, sit in really deep, like, am I weird for feeling weird and icked out when, like, people show me affection? And it's not, like, just people in general. It's usually more family, parents especially, but sometimes, like, other people, like friends as well, like, you know. But bro, when, like, parents show me affection, oh, it feels illegal. It literally feels like I'm breaking laws, and it shouldn't be done. I can't. Hugging, oh my gosh, my mom hugged me, like, last month, and I think I almost cried. It feels so, like, I can't. It also showing affection back to them. And it's not like I don't do it because I don't love them. It's that I don't do it because it doesn't feel comfortable, and that says something. But you know what? I think it's weird because growing up, our parents were very ignorant people. I mean, they still are, but they were very ignorant people. Didn't show much attention, much affection, much anything. I didn't get attention at home, and I feel like it shows sometimes. But anyway, so they kind of, I don't know, the household was very, like, a lot of, okay, well, my parents aren't and weren't together at the time, but every time they were, like, in each other's presence was only like for me, and every time they were together, it was always a fight, or it was always an argument, or it was always some type of negative energy. And so because they were always angry at each other, they would sometimes also project their anger onto me. And so I grew up around a lot of, like, hatred and, like, negativity and all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? And so with that being said, being ignored, kind of just, now that they're trying to show me affection and trying to give me attention, it just doesn't feel right because it's not what I'm used to. It's not what I grew up around, and it's not, you know, but not to trauma dump or anything. Never that. But yeah, because it's not what they raised me with, it doesn't feel okay, and I feel like it never will feel okay. Like, it feels awkward as hell. I I can't even bring myself to say I love you. But that's not even just with parents, that's with everyone, to be honest. I feel like really weird if I say I love you in a serious way. If it's like in a joking way, like, do you know what I mean? Like if let's say my friend buys me like food or something and I say, oh my gosh, I love you, in a joking way, like, you know, but like I can't say it and mean it. And you know what the issue is? I really do love people. I do love people, like I love my friends and stuff, but showing that is my biggest issue. And I feel like sometimes it makes me feel like such a shit friend, because like I've had people tell me like, oh, like sometimes I feel like you don't like me because you're not good at showing that you do. And I'm like, I feel terrible. I feel terrible, genuinely. I do. Whoops. I feel horrible. And I really wish that there was something I could do to fix myself or change myself to be able to show some fucking affection and whatnot. But yeah, it makes me feel like an ass. Am I the asshole for not being? You know what? I might have to hop on Reddit. But yeah, showing affection, not even just showing affection, but showing emotion sometimes. Like, I literally remember, not to get like too into detail, but like I think it was 2022, 2023, my grandpa passed away, right? And I wasn't too close with him, but I obviously did know him. I did meet him a few times. I did love him or whatever. That's insane. But when he died, right, obviously my mom was like distraught. That's her father, right? And I literally remember finding out, and I was sad, but I didn't cry. Like, I remember the whole time, even when we flew out for his funeral, I didn't shed a tear. But it's not like I didn't cry because I don't love him, or blah, 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 blah. But like, I don't know, I was in a state of shock for a bit. Like, I was like, it doesn't when someone dies, it doesn't feel real. It feels, I don't know, it just doesn't feel real. And I remember, I think like a month later, me and mom got into a big argument, and she was like, oh, like, you're so selfish, and then she was like, I knew you were heartless the day you didn't cry when your grandpa died, or something like that. But yeah, I could not produce tears. I physically couldn't. At one point, I even like started feeling like I was like weird for not crying, and I tried to like make myself cry. I physically couldn't. Maybe I'm wired incorrectly. One of the results from, okay, because the personality quiz gives you like it gives you like strengths and weaknesses, I think it is. Wait, let me check it really quickly. Yeah, it gives you like strengths and weaknesses, right? And my weaknesses are, they gagged me, okay? My weaknesses are messy as fuck. But I had one weakness, and it was like difficulty expressing feelings, which I feel like is so real. It's so hard to express like how I feel these days. Most days. All days. But yeah. But I also feel like, because, okay, sometimes it's not even just that, like, most of the time it's because, like, I don't know how to put my feelings into words. Like, everything I say feels corny as hell and attention-seeking as fuck and feels like it shouldn't be said. But also because sometimes I feel like if I tell someone the way I feel, they're just gonna push it down and make me feel like shit for it, because that's how I was raised. I was raised like, your problems don't matter because there's people that are living worse than you right now. Yeah, that's the one. And so now every time I'm upset about something, I kind of just like force myself to get over it, because it's like, okay, well, there's people that are going through worse shit. Literally being like 5 years old and crying over something that seemed big to me, like, this is just an example, like, that seemed big to me, but then my mom would be like, oh, like, you're 5, like, you're not even old enough to know how bad life gets. Oh, that's a quote, isn't it?
What are you doing here, honey? You're not even old enough to know how bad life gets.
But anyway, you're not even bad enough to know how, you're not even old enough to know how bad life gets. So stop crying. Like, just shut up and stop crying. And so I always feel like my emotions weren't valid. And I still do to this day. That's the type of stuff that sticks to you. But I feel like it's so dumb to say that, because a lot of people do believe in that. It's like, oh, like, you're too young to be feeling this, like, you know what I mean? Like, you haven't even experienced the worst of it. Like, just get up and get over it. You know what I mean? That's so mean, because things that are not deep to you might be so deep to the other person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do I, like, if a kid were crying because he dropped his lollipop and you were crying because you couldn't afford to pay bills this month, like, you obviously don't think that dropping your lollipop is such a deep thing compared to your incapability to pay your bills. But that 5-year-old also thinks that your problem is stupid because your bills are not as important as his lollipop. You know what I mean? Everybody has different struggles. Everyone has different problems. And I feel like judging whether one problem is just as big as the other is dumb. Because in your eyes, it's not as big. But in their eyes, it's probably freaking huge. If I even make sense. Now I'm just really talking to talk. Like, do I make sense? Anyway, because this whole video has shifted to the topic of parents, why not continue it? One thing I hate is parents who argue and drag their kid into it or do it in front of the kid. Do you know what my parents do a lot? This is turning into like a really annoying trauma dump. Anyway, one thing my parents do or used to do is would argue, right? And then one parent will like sit down to me and be like, oh, let's just say, like, for instance, my mom will sit down to me and be like, oh, like, your dad is this, he did this, he did that, he said this, he said that, and then like say all this shit stuff to persuade me to like be on her side. You know what I mean? And then in the next 10 minutes my dad comes and is like, oh, your mom did this, your mom did that, your mom said this, your mom said that, to try and make me take his side. And I'm sitting here and I'm like 6 years old and I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I have bigger problems than your petty ass arguments. But I feel like that's so stupid. Like, as grown adults should be dealing with their stuff on their own and not pulling their children into it. For people who argued so much, they seemed to get along real well when it was time to tag team on me. Like, oh my goodness, like, my parents are not people who get along. Like, they do argue a lot. Like, they do, like, you know, like, like, it's getting concerning now. But shit, when it's time to gang up on me, I literally remember there were times where they had like the biggest arguments, and there was a period of time where they weren't talking for like, it had been like a month, and then I got an E in math. My grades were slipping so bad because shit was just so shit. My grades were slipping and I had an E in math, and so the teacher called my mom and told her, and my mom told my dad, which was crazy because I thought we weren't on communication, but when it comes to me, okay, she tells my dad, and so then they get mad, and because my dad's always on fly in, fly out, he's usually not in the country, he calls my mom, and then my mom comes, brings the phone, and they're both yelling at me, and they were like, oh, like, why are you failing maths? We didn't create you to be a failure. You didn't create me with intention anyway. Someone had to say it. I swear, they get, okay, understandably, but like, they get so heated when I mention like them never being together or them making me unintentionally. They get so heated, but it's like, it's the truth. No, I literally, 2 days ago, was it? No, it was yesterday evening. Yesterday, we were in the car, me and my mom were in the car, and she was saying something about how my dad's mom is a great mother-in-law, and I was like, a mother-in-law is a mother of, like, you guys would have to be married for you guys to be in-laws, you know what I mean? And I was like, I meant to say this in my head. I swear I didn't mean to say it. Like, I'm not a rude child. I meant to say it in my head, and I was like, how is she a mother-in-law if you guys aren't even married?
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
The lecture I got, it wasn't nice. I don't want to trauma dump your ears off. So I'm literally gonna go ahead and wrap it up before I disclose more information. That, okay guys, I seriously need to practice looking into the camera and not looking around. But anyway, I'm going to sign off and edit and do homework and the same cycle every single fucking night. Bye.